Ari, we've seen Dillon Gabriel in big games before. This week, last year, we watched him help Oklahoma beat Texas in the Red River Shootout. Now we get to see Dillon Gabriel playing for Oregon against Ohio State in the biggest game of the year in the Big Ten so far. I'm so excited to see maybe the most impactful transfer so far this year against, another transfer quarterback, Will Howard.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion, Andy, about which quarterback is better in the game. And I think that you unquestionably have to say Dillon Gabriel at this point, right? I will say that Oregon, for a large portion of the season, has not played its best football. It has not looked like it's played its best football, and it has played with its food. Even last Friday's game against Michigan State, I know that UNLV and Syracuse was kind of on center stage for a lot of our televisions, but if you were watching that game, I think he threw 2 interceptions deep in the red zone, and they just have not clicked on all cylinders yet. So your hope, if you are an Oregon fan or an Oregon supporter, that you want Dillon Gabriel in this offense to click on all cylinders, because when it does, it's a really pretty thing.
Yeah, and the way it works the best is when his receivers are able to get some yak yards. But also, we've seen Dillon Gabriel in the past at UCF and at Oklahoma in big games where his legs can take over sometimes. Remember, this is a guy who was originally committed to Army. He was going to run the option. And then UCF came along. Mackenzie Milton was the quarterback at his high school before Dillon Gabriel, begged Josh Heupel to recruit Dillon Gabriel there. And you saw he throws this beautiful left-handed ball. But never forget the dude can run. And I think that also plays into this as well, because it allows him to keep plays alive. It allows him to, against a pass rush like Ohio State's, probably still keep some plays alive where he can throw the ball downfield. Now, let's look at Dillon Gabriel's Prize Picks numbers for this game. If you're not playing Prize Picks already, best daily fantasy game in America. Download the app. Use the code Staples. Play $5. Get $50 instantly. You're picking squares, so you've got a player attached to a number. In this case, Dillon Gabriel's passing yardage number, 258.5. So, all right, let's talk about that 258.5, because if you're on the Prize Picks app, you can click that square and it'll call up Dillon Gabriel's performance in the last 5 games. He's kind of right on that number each of the last 4 games. He's been above it twice. He's been below it twice, but he's basically right there. 243, 291, 278, 257. So they've got a pretty good idea of where he fits into this thing. But I think to keep score with Ohio State, because I think Ohio State is going to score some on Oregon's defense, you're probably going to need more than this number.
Yeah, and the thing that I have noticed a lot, obviously, watching Oregon the last few years, is they do a lot of behind the backfield or behind the line of scrimmage throws, a lot of lateral throws to the sidelines and try to get people open in space and break off some big plays. So kind of low risk throws that turn into, explosives. And I think against this Ohio State defense, it's going to be harder to create some of that stuff. So, Dan Lanning is going to have to get into his bag, get some motions, get some people into space. And, the hope is that they can create some big plays on some pretty low leverage situations. So I think that obviously you want to see more than that square if Oregon's going to win this football game. But I think the Ducks are going to have to get kind of creative to get there, because that's a pretty high number against a defense like this.
Yeah, and the passing TDs numbers for Dillon Gabriel, I'm not as worried about them in terms of how you win this game. In fact, I don't know that I'm going near the 2.5 passing TDs demon square. The demon square allows a higher potential payout, by the way. So, but it is automatically more than. That means you think he's going to throw for at least 3 passing touchdowns. I think Oregon is good enough on the ground, like with Jordan James or with Dillon Gabriel with his legs, that you may see the touchdowns be scored that way. I don't think that you guarantee that touchdowns are coming through the air. So that's the part I'd be a little bit careful with Dillon Gabriel. Now he's got a demon square that is 0.5 rushing or receiving TDs. That one I'd be more apt to take a look at, because like we said, when things go wrong against a really good defense, historically in games that Dillon Gabriel has played, that's when his legs have taken over.
Yeah, and he's had a lot of very impressive scrambles this year. I don't know how closely the viewers have watched Oregon, because they've been playing in weird time positions and late at night and stuff. But there have been some plays where your jaw drops with how he was able to escape pressure and escape a potential sack. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that his ability to find the end zone with his legs is the secret element here, or the X factor for Oregon's offense getting into the end zone in the red zone.
It is going to probably decide whether they win this game or not. It was the determining factor, I think, in the Texas-Oklahoma game last year, where Texas was probably the better team, but Oklahoma won the game in part because Dillon Gabriel took it over. So
yeah,
can Dillon Gabriel take over this one? We're going to find out.